So all the cons, Pierre Poilievre et al., complaining about, oh, and don't forget about Toronto's son, Lily, Mr. Lily, Kuzma. Canadian government's not making any effort. I don't think you realize what's going on. You've got no friggin' clue what's going on. This guy Trump, he's tariffing the world. Courts, Supreme Court said you can't tariff, but you can use these tariffs. So right away he uses those tariffs. He just wants to use tariffs. He just wants to be the king of the world. If he had his way and he could talk his military into it, they'd invade Canada. You just don't get it. There's no good deal for anybody in the world, except for Russia. He's got a soft spot for Russia and Putin for some reason. I know part of the reason, but it's beyond me why. No, it's not beyond me, because you're talking about an illiterate. Guy's in the bottom 28%, functioning illiterate. Doesn't understand cause and effect. That's why he's got no compunction, or acts with no compunction. What do you think, what was it, Virginia Giffray, Jean-Luc, a French guy, and Epstein, all in the Epstein files? Probably the only three people that could actually get him convicted. And guess what? They all died by suicide. Quite ironic, isn't it? Just have to, 2 and 2 doesn't equal 3. Usually equals 4. So the patterns are already there. But nonetheless, so here's the deal. We got tied into a North American deal with the United States, and the United States is switching to strictly gasoline powered. They do have some hybrids, but EVs, forget about EVs, like windmills and stuff like that. Trump's obliterating them, putting his country behind China in the race to be number one because of it. Just the natural evolution of decisions, and that's what's going to happen. But because of that, you won't have any of the Canadian manufacturers doing EV. So taking in 40,000 Chinese electric vehicles is not a bad thing. So here we're going to review. This was done by Harry's Garage. So Harry is a friend, close friend of Jeremy Clarkson. They've got farms, within a half hour's drive of each other. And it's rather unusual because Harry only does exotics usually, but he did an SUV, Chinese, JQ7 they call it. I think it's JQ. But let's just watch what he has to say. You'll be surprised.
Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and quite an unusual car in the garage today, the JQ7. And I booked this in after seeing this car achieve a #1 spot in the sales charts in the UK for the month of March. Over 10,000 sales. I thought, what on earth's going on? Have we got a Chinese take?
So look at this. Chinese EV, but it's actually almost kind of like it's a hybrid as well, but not in the traditional sense that we have experienced in North America. But it's #1 on the sales list in the UK. And like you see, Volvo's, Volkswagen Golf, Tesla Model Y's #9, and BMW 1 Series, 4900, #10.
But why is everyone dashing to this car? Especially if I read early reviews of it in the motoring press, Autocar and what car, it was a 2-star car and annoying in a number of ways. And yet the public and the buying public just love it. So what's going on? Now, the thing about the JQ7, there are 7...
Oh, and another thing, guys in Alberta, this was during the convoy time, guys in Alberta, for whatever reason, they're believing this American propaganda that China is going to invade us. China is not going to invade us, and in all likelihood is less of a threat than the Americans are now. I know it's hard to believe, hard to wrap your head around, because the Han Dynasty, if anybody knows anything about Chinese culture, which not a lot know, they think they know, but there's more to it than a lot of people understand. But they're closer to Britain. If they're going to invade, they're going to invade Britain before Canada. So it's interesting to see what Harry says about this vehicle. You're going to be surprised.
Overall models, and they start from about £29,000, and that's the pure petrol variant. But I got in this SHSP version, which is the plug-in hybrid, has a 56-mile range, and JQ claim full tank of fuel. This will go 745 miles on one fill of petrol. And I've done quite a few miles and long trips in this car because I want to find out if that's really true. That's why I got it in. Let's go and have a closer look. Now, starting at the beginning, price of this car, £35,175 on the road. This car has this pearlescent paint, which is a £600 option, but that's basically it on the option list. And there is so much equipment in this car, as you will run through it. But there's no denying it has a sort of Range Rover-esque look about it. And I think that is appealing to the buy-in customer, as well as a 7-year warranty on it, 100,000 miles or unlimited miles for the first.
So that you know, Jeremy Clarkson and Harry, they both have working farms. So they do have a couple Range Rovers that they've used for many decades and still have in their garage at this moment in time.
3 years if you own this car, and if you're doing it on a PCP, I think it's about just over £300 a month. So all of those things, oh, well, I quite like the look of this. And yeah, it is a good looking car. It does not look as though it's a cheap Chinese car. It just has presence, trick lights on it, nicely designed, and then come round and just see the size of it. It's a reasonable size car. One thing I'd notice is that's the size of the driver's door. Look at the size of the rear door. It's like a long wheelbase version, which is, just an interesting styling. The door handles are out. I could take the key out and then it keeps resetting itself. There's no key as such. It just starts as if you have the keyless go in your pocket. The other thing, tyres. 19-inch wheels come as standard, and then they've got these sort of flared in. This is all to do with making it super slippery through the air and efficiency. Odd that I can just about make out a red caliper hiding behind there, but there's no way of seeing it. The suspension is coil, so no air sprung. It sits at this height. This is its height. And it has a full panoramic roof as well that opens. You can just see up there, roof rails as well. Then around the back, again, it just looks expensive. And dare I say it again, a Range Rover. Just this sort of flush panel here with JQ sort of under this perspex just adds a sort of jewel-like quality to it. It just does not look a basic car at all. If I open it, electric, up it goes, bit of a black hole, reasonable size boot. There we go, bit of space. I'm not sure what's underneath. Yeah, you can put your charging cable and things under there. Seats go back. One thing of note, it's quite a small rear window when you're driving it, but yeah, it has sort of all mod cons like that. There we go, so 5-seater, so you can see, yeah, I'm afraid it's, quite a dark interior, but there is weirdly a sort of feeling of higher quality on the bits at the top. You touch this, you touch this, you touch that, that's all good. This is where the sort of cheaper plastic is down here, but then at the front, very similar upright screen as you can see. Then Sony on the speaker grille. Electric seats as you can see there. I'm going to take the key out as well and you'll just see what happens when I do that. And you just watch the car. As I walk away, it locks itself. So, yeah, it's one of those cars that as soon as you walk up to it, it all starts and energises and you can hear the fan going. The bit that confuses me, though, is the engine and the drivetrain. There's an 18 kilowatt hour battery. This is the plug-in version. It has about 56-mile range, and that's good going. But it's front-wheel drive, and it has this super efficient 1.5 litre engine, 44% efficient as they claim, which is the best in the market, and electric drive to the front wheels. And this is where the efficiency all comes in. It basically drives as an electric car most of the time, and then the engine chimes in and will charge the battery, or can produce some power to the front wheels. And I just can't get my head around it. I've looked at the press spec. I cannot understand how it does transmit power to the front wheels, but it does. So I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, that's the drivetrain setup. So bargain price, looks pretty smart. What's it drive like? Let's take it outside and find out. Nice sort of sound as you close the door, very good seals around it, and it's actually got double glazing on the windows, which comes as a surprise. It's all very confusing, when you keep thinking about the actual list price, and you're presented with a wheel that looks suspiciously like one out of a Land Rover product of how they've done the J-Core on the wheel. Yeah, just it's Cherry who make this, the overall group that make this car. And they've actually done a deal with Land Rover, and they're going to be producing the new Freelander, the pure electric Land Rover, which is an interesting development because this does have that similar feel, shall we say, to a Land Rover product. And you are met with the central screen. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, just so you know, Land Rover, the Freelander was a vehicle in the past, and then they stopped producing it. So they're bringing the Freelander back, and it's going to be a full EV type vehicle based on what Harry's saying here.
You get to know this, unfortunately. There's quite a lot of things on here. It's quite quick, but yeah, there are some things that are quite a good idea to do. There's so much stuff in here. I'm not going to go right through it, but quick control, new energy, you'll see. But as you can see, it's sort of quite quick. I don't understand the power saving mode. I presume I like it in smart rather than initial, but that's what it does. Charging network, yeah, we've got 51.6 miles of battery, but I've been running around a bit. It was at 56 or 58 when it was fully charged, but we will look at that screen in due course as we drive around. What else is to see? Well, I've got the gear selector on here. There's no, well, the key is here, and it opens as you approach and you get in, and all I have to do is put that into drive and we're off and away. I just have to have a foot on the brake. It will not move unless it's got I've got a seatbelt on. That's where they are. Here I can choose sort of modes, unlocking doors, hazards, and whether I want it in a sort of hybrid version or pure EV. But it starts off in pure EV. A very deep bin in there with cooling, vents. This is sort of soft, and there's some bits of elements of the interior that are higher quality than you'd expect, and others more as you'd expect to find in this car. As I say, the bottom halves of the door are hard plastic. Isofix in the back. Yeah, no Isofix in the front, and you can adjust the electric seat. Yeah, electric seats and things. Yeah, ventilation. You can quickly do temperature on here, but if you want to do more, you scroll up in here, and this gives you your menu, and you've got heated seats and ventilated seats on this one. I don't want that. I just want regular air conditioning. I've turned the fan down so it's not so noisy, but yeah, and you've got a purifier for the air as well. I mean, God, how do they do it for the money? It's just nuts, all this. One thing just on, yes, sound, and yeah, if I have to go back to this screen, radio is rubbish. I don't know why, but the DAB on it doesn't really work. The good news is it very quickly connects on CarPlay and things, and it's actually really quite quick how it all works. Very clever. I've got my phone on airplane, that's why it's not connecting at the moment. The one thing you have to do before moving off is to scroll down on here and deactivate some of the ADASing, because it's pretty aggressive on those. It's been mentioned in other road tests and things, but yeah, they are annoying. So I do the speed first, lane departure, I have to say okay, and this is where this screen sort of breaks down, because you have to do another touch to get the next one up, which is the camera looking at me, and if I dare look at the camera or this screen, it will put an alert up, so I'm turning that off as well.
Yeah, so the thing is, you're going to spend too much time playing around with the screen. This is one flaw with this, because just on the screen all the time and trying to drive, not very safe. Not very safe at all.
And also, when you put the CarPlay and you want to go another screen, it doesn't actually revert to the same screen you were on. It goes to the home screen and then you have to choose your navigation again and that pops up. So you are interacting with the screen way too often. Right, let's head out. So I just put it into drive and off we go. And it just feels electric. Silence. So let's head out and I'll go and take it onto Fay Road and go through some more details. Something I forgot to mention, you actually get a little wireless charging point for your phone here, and it's got a vent, which is super clever. And the thing, I just want to show you this. I've got a mode thing here, and I can be in sport, eco, and normal. It starts off in eco. I put it into sport. It makes a little bit of a difference, but not that much. And then we'll pull out of here. I'm going back to new energy, and off we go. See here, I'm purely on electric. Moves off really quite well. I say it is just like driving an electric car, but it's a 204 horsepower maximum, this one, rather than just being a missile. It doesn't, you know, it's just normal acceleration for a family SUV like this. And I did measure it on my testing bit of road, and noise wise it's good. It's just either side of 70 decibels, which is pretty quiet. You do hear road noise though, which is typical. When you actually insulate a car, you still sound sort of to your ears slightly loud, but it's not actually when you get a meter out. Just that's what happens when you make a car quieter and quieter. Other things on this interior, well, it's this interesting sort of layout. I haven't got a choice of layouts at the dash in front of you, but it's got an odd way of sort of recording if you want to check MPG or how much electric you're using it, because it does it over the last 31 miles or 50 kilometers. So I'm staying at 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. MPG, complete nonsense, and 50 MPG at the bottom. I don't understand exactly how it gets that information. What I do see is 441 mile range is what it's predicting, and it was 700 odd when it arrived, and I've done 350, 400 miles in it. So it is a bit strange, all the layout. And then on the other side, I've got power, how much power I'm using, and a speed in the middle. But I've got a head-up display, and that's giving me miles as well. Now I'm just going to, it's time for the squirt up the hill. So what am I in? I can't remember. Right, I'm in sport now. The engine has not fired up so far, so I'm intrigued if this actually fires up. We've got the D-limit sign coming up. Here we go. Right, the engine has fired up, and it's taking it's powering electric to the battery. It is not driving the wheels. But we're energized, and it's actually maybe the engine is thinking I'm about to go even faster, and it's putting more energy into the battery. I don't know. It is weird. I mean, this is a plug-in hybrid plus. It does stuff that I can't fathom, having run a number of plug-in hybrids before. But things to say about it, it is efficient. And that is a big thing with this car, is it's basically an electric car the vast majority of the time, and it does everything it can to do that, and it never actually lets the battery run all the way down. It gets about 10-12 miles, and then it will quietly start the engine, and it will start pumping some electric into the battery. So, and the engine itself is a bit weird, because it's actually a very long stroke sort of engine design. It is not made to rev, and when you do occasionally hear the engine start up, well, you've got this CVT gearbox, so you just hear a hum in the background. Oh, the engine started up. It's weird. It's nothing like I've ever driven before. It's like a range extender, but it's not that either, because it can actually power the wheels. There we are. Anyway, the engine's gone out now. I'm going to turn right down here. Let's see how we go. Turn in, bit of roll, and a little bit of, yeah, just a bit of scrabble. You do notice that. Now, bumpy bit of road, and it's absorbing the bumps. It's like a slight wobble. I would describe the suspension on this is basically it's not finessed. It has suspension. And it's one of those areas, and it's got a lot of criticism in motoring press, but actually it just hasn't had the time taken to absolutely finesse it and put adaptive dampers on the things. It just has suspension and that's it. It doesn't deal with some bumps particularly well, others it deals with fine, and really at the price point I don't think it really matters that much. The vast majority of people will not notice. Now, somewhere on this screen, I think it was in vehicle settings. Oh God, this is the trouble. Yes, I could put the steering to sport, and what I do like about that, I did it once and I've never had to touch it again, and it just adds a little bit of weight to the steering. It doesn't make it more feelsome or anything, but it just feels a bit more normal, I suppose, is how to view it. Also, because I'm in sport on here, I can feel a little bit more regen. All these things are settable if you've got half an hour to dive into all this, but I haven't. One thing I have noticed, having shut everything, all the ADAS stuff off, if I try and use the standard cruise control on it, it won't have it. I think it needs the lane assist and all those functions to be working to allow the cruise control to work. Another little thing, the wheel I'm holding feels quality. It just has a very nice feel. I can feel the stitching on the leather, if it is real leather. Same with the interior. I don't know if it's real leather. It sort of feels real leather. So yeah, it is an odd mix. It's, you know, the panoramic roof. Everything tells you you're in a more expensive car than you actually are. Let's right through here. See, dealt with that compression quite well. There's a little bit of torque steer with it, and it's a pretty crude, the traction control. I noticed coming out of junctions and things, yeah, around there, doesn't really hauls itself out. It's all right, 80% power. Yeah, and the engine started up again. Yeah, it just scrabbles and then it gets control of it. It just, again, it hasn't been finessed. Now let's run through some likes and dislikes. Well, dislikes, well, obviously the ADAS is near undrivable if you don't turn all those systems off. 2, I'm interacting with this screen way too much. I'm too distracted, particularly if I'm going into this screen and then into CarPlay, which I have to do on there. If I have to press this, I press this one, press it again, then I get to CarPlay, and I haven't got it connected, so it can't actually do it. But it's just too much interaction with this screen, and there's no way around it from what I can see. And 3, the suspension and ride, it's not up to full standard. But having said that, I was in an Audi electric Q3, I think it was. The ride was horrendous. So it's not as though the legacy makers are any better. The likes, though, the number one is just the efficiency. It's gobsmacking how efficient this car actually is and how efficient it is on electric. And this is the crucial thing. This is doing 3 or perhaps better miles per kilowatt hour. A normal hybrid, where it's within the drivetrain of the car, struggles to do 2. Our Range Rover Sport, which I know is a different car, that was about 1.6, 1.7, and it needed twice a bigger battery as this to do the same number of miles on electric. And that is a crucial difference that people don't think. They just look at the electric range and think, oh, that's good, and the battery is twice the size. And it makes a big difference on this car. Let's just try it around here. Not really sporty. Lots of roll. I like roll, though, because it means the suspension's working, I can read it, yeah, and it powers out. Yeah. And the positive side, I weighed this car and it's really light. I think it weighed 10 kilos. I didn't write it down. I'll flash it up now. That is incredibly light. It's nearly a ton lighter than our Range Rover Sport plug-in hybrid because of the big battery and all the four-wheel drive gubbins. And I don't think there's that much more space in the Sport compared to this. It's really a Velar rival, this car. And yeah, that is its what I have learned from this, and the price point, it's £5,000 cheaper than most of its direct rivals. It's nearly half the price of a Land Rover product, and yet they're expanding, and at 35,000 it's much more than Chery are selling this car that's not actually a JQ7 in China. It's around 20,000 in China, so they're making fine margin at the £35,000, which is properly scary for legacy car makers, I would suggest, because how are they going to compete with something like this that is, for the average Joe, terrific transport? There is not a cheaper way of running a car of this size, brand new, 7-year warranty, 100,000 miles. Why aren't you going to buy this? And that is what the sales chart is telling us. If you want a slightly more upmarket within the group, I think it's Amida is the next model up, and that just comes out with a few more toys, a bit more power and things. And it's also interesting when you look at the range they have in the JQ7, there is no pure electric version. There's this plug-in hybrid, there's a smaller battery version and a mild hybrid one, that non-plug-in, if you like. The only thing I think is missing on this, if it's really going to compete head-on with the Land Rover buyer, they probably want four-wheel drive. And there is four-wheel drive in the range, but not in plug-in hybrid version. I would have thought that would be a model that might appear in the future. So I've come away, it's not a car for me, but I've come away mighty impressed, can absolutely understand the sales figures, the efficiency. I'd like that China has this new energy policy, rather than pure electric, it's new energy, let the engineers get on with it, and the engineers have created an incredibly efficient car here. And for running costs, I don't know how you get it cheaper. And if you want to be able to do the long runs as well as electric, this is the sort of drivetrain I think is the perfect solution. So there you go. A different sort of Harry's Garage today, but I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. And if you did...
So there you go. There's a guy that knows what he's talking about. He explains in very simple terms, great value, and, all the fears about these Chinese vehicles is just a construct of the mind, or people just fear-mongering. And you got to remember, EVs have not taken off in North America, because the biggest market in North America is the United States, and they've basically walked away from EVs, and that's why there's still a bit of a market for hybrids, and that's why Toyota and Honda will keep making those. But strict EVs, you can't beat the Chinese product. I've seen a few reviews, and I thought I'd share this one with you, so you can get an idea from a guy that's legitimate, that you can trust, and get his feedback. And this is the #1 selling vehicle just within the last month in the UK. You can't beat it. Price-wise, you can't beat it. So there you go, kids. Or there you go, folks. So this here is somewhat a quasi-hybrid, but it operates EV mode all the time pretty well. And it's remarkable value for its cost, for £35,000 UK. So there you go. Now this is the reality of what the products are like. And coming into Canada is only going to be about 40 to 45,000 for a number of years, and it's a limited way of doing it, so we can build up a relationship based on trust and sort things out. And this is how the Chinese-Canadian relationship's going to be. And that's it. Questions, comments, throw in chat, and love and peace to everyone. Take care. Ciao for now.